ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಸಖತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ ಮಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ? ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಫ್ರಮ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ? ಎನಿವನ್? 1 2 3 4. Yeah, fine. So how is Bangalore? So how many of you are from outside Bangalore? Okay. How many of you came by, free bus ride? Are you happy with the free bus ride? No? Yes or no? Some girl said no. ಯಾರದು? ಯಾರು ನೋ ಅಂದಿದ್ದು? So let us wait for a few more minutes. So how many of you are from Bangalore? Good. How many of you are civil engineers? Okay. Mechanical? Electrical? Computer science? Good. ಇನ್ಯಾವುದಿದೆ? ಯಾವುದು? Electronics and communications, E&C. How many of you are non-engineers? Oh. This is something totally different, from the expected trend. So we used to have a majority of engineers compared to other streams, other disciplines. So those who raised your hands, non-engineers, how many BSc or MSc? Science graduates. Commerce? Oh, very few. Arts, humanities? Good. What? Agriculture? BSc Agriculture? Oh, good. So within BSc Agri, how many of you are from GKVK? 2. Dharwad? ಇನ್ನೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯಲ್ವ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ರಾಯಚೂರು. ಓಕೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್? 1 2 3 4 5. ಗುಡ್. ಇನ್ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಾ? ವಾಟ್? ಲಾ, ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಲಾ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ಸ್? ಓ, 1 2 3. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ PUC ಹುಡುಗರಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಅವ್ನು ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ನಿಧಾನಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವರೇನು PUC? ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ಓಕೆ. ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ವ ಇನ್ನು? ಹೌದಾ? MBBS ಓದಿರೋರು ನೋಡಿ ಅವನ್ನ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಮೈ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆನ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್? ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ನ? How many of you know about me? Very few. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವ ನಾನು ಯಾರು ಅಂತಂದ? It's okay, I'll introduce myself. This is just a warming up. So ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ವಿನಯ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಂತಂದು. Right? I am the what? Founder and Director of Insights IAS. So what do you want to hear from me? ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ why are you here and what do you want to hear from me? Can anybody just ಏನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು? What do you want to hear? So everybody has come with a big dream in your head, right? IAS, IPS and foreign service. How many of you want to be in foreign service? Good. Anybody IRS, income tax? No one. So IAS, IPS and Indian Foreign Service. So these three are these three are not all India services. 2 of them are all India services. IFS is central service. So these are the most preferred services, right? So everyone sitting in this room, you are here for a reason. The reason is you have come to Bangalore from outside Karnataka, from outside Bangalore. Some of you from within Bangalore, you have chosen inside IAS with a dream of getting into either IAS, IPS or Indian Foreign Service, right? And it is a very big dream. It's a lofty dream and you are aware of it, right? Are you aware of it? So when you made a choice, nobody imposed it on you, right? It was not imposed on you. Maybe in some cases, I have seen parents bringing their children. Maybe they are in the civil services or they are closely working with civil servants and they fill their children with this dream. My dear son or my dear daughter, you have to become IAS or IPS. Like that, very few people are there. Otherwise, most of you have made this choice voluntarily, right? The decision, the choice might have been taken during the childhood or during school days, college days, right? Most of you, maybe as far as my experience goes, after your graduation or just before completion of the graduation, right? Can someone answer me, any one of you, one or two of you, why did you think of becoming IAS or IPS or IFS? How did it start for you? When did it start for you? And how strong is the dream within you? So all of you have come to Bangalore, right? And you have taken a risk in the sense that you have come out of your comfort zones. You have searched for rooms and I am sure you have gone through some troubles to find a room, to get adjusted to room, to get adjusted to food. Some of you to get adjusted to weather also. So why did you do this? Because that is the beginning of everything, for you. If you are not very clear about why you are sitting in this classroom, just thinking that I want to be an IAS officer is not enough, not sufficient, right? I'll give you a strong reason why. It is not sufficient because all of you who are going to take part in this a very difficult journey are new to this journey. You have never faced anything like this before in your entire life. I am sure all of you are around 21, 22, 23, 24 year olds. So in your lifespan of 21, 22, 23, 25 years, you haven't faced what you are about to do, what you are about to, the journey you are about to carry on, you haven't actually faced it. So what is that? I am not talking about reading, I am not talking about syllabus, right? I am not talking about the exams, answer writing, no. There is one big issue that I have stayed in this journey enough number of years. By January next year it will be 10 years. So in the span of 9.5 years, I have seen hundreds of toppers emerge out of these classrooms or courses, right? Who used to be like you in the classroom or in some other courses. And I have seen thousands of people who couldn't make it as well, right? So I can clearly imagine, when I started this journey, so the first people who come to our mind is the ones who succeeded. The second level of people who come to my mind immediately, who could have succeeded, but for some minor reasons here and there could not succeed. The fourth level, the third level, there are people who are still trying. They are giving their hard work, right? So they keep improving. So they also come to my mind. There is another fourth category. I can't even recall their faces or name because I haven't met them. They used to be part of the class Either I haven't met or my mentors or teachers haven't met them. They come, invisible people, they come to the class, they attend class, they go. So what I have identified why this happens, that some people go on to top this examination, most people do not top. Obviously there are limited seats, but what I believe is that there is one strong fundamental reason. The reason, as I was telling you, something that you haven't faced so far is that during your entire school days, college years, every day your life was totally different, right? Your normal day, morning 6 o'clock to let's say evening 10:30 or 11 o'clock, right? Your day when you are aware about yourself, what you are doing, right? Day to day activities, it used to be different. Some days it used to be hectic in the sense that just before the examinations, your internals, you used to spend maybe 6 to 8 hours studying for that examination, internals, right? Rest of the days attending the classes, involving in maybe in extracurricular activities or just chilling out, enjoying your life, going around, enjoying that all the good days of college life. But now onwards, from today onwards, it is not going to be like that. In the past phase of your life, I mean, let's say till yesterday, you were spending on an average 1 to 2 hours for studies every day, right? If you have studied for engineering in 4 years, maybe in entire year, maybe around 40-50 days you might have studied for 6 to 8 hours. Remaining days you know very well, right? How was your life? How seriously you used to study? Like barring few people, those gold medalists, and those who easily get placements, except those exceptions, so we call them as outliers, right? From today onwards, every day minimum 8 hours, maximum 14 hours. 8 hours is the baseline, right? Maximum 14 hours for next 700 days, right? For next 700 days, how many days? You have to set a minimum number of 8 hours for day to day preparation, maximum 14 hours, right? This minimum 8 hours, maximum 14 hours is the problem here for most of the aspirants, right? The reason is you are not prepared for it, neither mentally nor physically. You are not prepared for what is about to come, what is about to happen, right? But there is a solution, right? It is within your mind. So the dream which started maybe in the childhood, maybe in the college days to become IAS has remained a dream so far, right? And you would have dreamt about it, like giving interview to TV9 sometimes, seeing your photo, maybe in front of all the institutions, getting a call for felicitation, all these things. Even now the toppers of 2022 are still invited to schools, colleges, Ella Sangha Samsthegalu, they are garlanding them, they are honoring them. So this is happening, it happens till they go to Labasna. Once they go to Labasna, the life is totally different. So they are going in the second week of August. So the question you have to ask for yourself, am I mentally, physically ready for putting minimum 8 hours, maximum 14 hours for next 700 days, right? If you make up your mind, if you decide today that every day you are going to do this, right? There will be exceptions. So I want you to take a break on Sunday, half day, it is perfectly fine. So when I say 700 days, you can exclude some holidays, some Sundays, but largely 90%. If you can make up your mind if you resolve that come what may, right, whatever be the circumstances, that I am going to put all my efforts consistently over the next 1.5 to 2 years, right. If you take it as a challenge in your mind and implement it every day consistently, I am sure the ones who are going to do this are going to crack this examination within one attempt. There is no doubt about it, right. So what I see in this journey, what I have seen is that inconsistency is the major issue among most of the aspirants, right. It is problem with the disciplined ones who used to be brilliant even in the college days, and it is problem with the others who have never done anything like this in their college days, right. So that is going to be my first point for all of you. Ensure that come what may, right. So when I say 8 hours, it is including classes, not excluding classes, right. Then how do you prepare yourself for it, right. It is not possible, suddenly you cannot sit and study for 8 hours. It is impossible. If you ask me to do something totally new that I haven't done so far, I cannot do it suddenly, right. So for that I am creating this awareness within you that you have to take things slowly, right. Slowly means in the beginning you have to focus on the basics first, right. Prepare yourself to take things slowly and incrementally improve yourself, your skills, your knowledge, wherever you find yourself lacking. So it can be answer writing, it can be essay writing, it can be your prelims scores in your daily and weekly tests, right. It can be even most fundamental things like not able to understand certain things in the classroom as well, and not able to understand textbooks when you are reading by yourself. Some of you will not understand editorials as well, right. So take things slowly, right. Don't get anxious, don't get scared that you are lagging behind compared to others. Slowly, what I mean by slowly is that, so within 2 to 3 months you should be able to achieve the target of minimum 8 hours, right. In 4-5 months you should be able to push to 10 months, and by the time January, February comes 12 hours, by the time March, April comes 14 hours, right. From today itself don't try to do 14 hours. Don't do this. ಆರಂಭ ಶೂರರು ಅಂತಾರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆರಂಭ ಶೂರರು ಅಂದರೆ like, so Vinay sir has told me in the class, minimum he said, right, no, I am Superman, I will take 14 hours. So I see some people like that in gym, and right. So the trainer tells, start with 5 kg, and then he starts with 12.5, 15, right. Because there is a girl around, in the gym. So he is not looking at you, but you think, right, so you want to impress her. So here in this journey you don't have to impress anyone. The only person whom you have to impress is yourself, right. The one who focuses on oneself and understands one's weaknesses and starts working on those weaknesses and develops himself or herself to be a better person compared to previous week, previous month, right, will invite success, will attract quality people around them, and eventually they will smoothly succeed in this examination. Did you understand this, right? So the focus should be on your own development, your own improvements. You have to identify them. So you will get n number of opportunities to identify your mistakes at Insights IAS, in the classroom, outside the classroom, when we ask you to write answers, when we ask you to come and write mains test on every Sunday, prelims test on every Sunday, you will get plenty of opportunities, and we will ask you to do more and more things going forward, right. So every task, every assignment that we give you is your one and only opportunity to identify your mistakes, right? If you are staying away from them, if you are not solving question, if you are not writing answer, if you are not writing essay, if you are not giving the test, right, you will never get any opportunity to know yourself. You will be under false confidence that yes, geography is completed in the classroom, I have notes of geography, I will go back, read geography from class notes, from NCERT and from maybe standard textbook, and never think that by doing this you are prepared for the examination, right? So what has happened because of our education system, the nature of education system, the education system that you have been through, most of the colleges is predictable. Predictable in the sense, so you could predict in the examination what kind of questions you were going to get, right? Even in 12th board, 11th or even 10th board examination, whether it is state or CBSE or ICSE, things are predictable. So they will tell you, read this textbook, solve these exercises, right? Most of the questions will get repeated from these sources. UPSC used to be something like this till even 5-6 years ago, but now things have totally changed. It is truly unpredictable, it is truly uncertain in the sense that I will talk about it, what it truly wants to test from you and how you should be prepared for it, right? ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಲೋಗಿ ಮೇಲೊಂದು ಲೈವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಅವನು ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಿರೋದಾ ಅಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪ ಮೇಲ್ who knows in few years, what Byju's did, they started coaching LKG students, UKG students, and what is happening to them, are you aware of? They might file for bankruptcy within few months, right? They don't have money to run anything anymore. It is all messed up. Messi was the brand ambassador for them. Before that, Shah Rukh Khan was there. Even if I want, Dunya Vijay, I cannot bring him. Forget about Shah Rukh Khan and all the stars. I don't understand why people put their money in marketing so much, right? The money should be put on you, right? The existing customers, if it is another business, existing students. So I don't understand the logic. So why they were spending so much money on thousands of crores. I think 6,500 crore when they bought IPL rights, I think 2 years ago. So that's a huge money, right? And not their own money. Yeah. Where was I? ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂತಿದ್ರು. ವಾಟ್? ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಐ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಬೈಜೂಸ್? ವಾಟ್? ವಾಟ್? 14 hour studies? No, after 14 hour studies. What? Wow, very good. Big claps for her. Yeah. Now, the things as it is we see today in UPSC are truly unpredictable, right? And I recently tweeted about it yesterday, I think. If somebody is following me on Twitter, yesterday I tweeted about CSAT. So I wrote that the way UPSC is setting paper for CSAT is unfair. The reason is everyone sitting in this classroom, right, haven't got truly quality education, neither in your school days nor in your college days. Education is not just making you clear the examination, get good CGPA. The education is preparing you for the life, preparing you to face uncertainties in life, preparing you to become mentally tough, right? Preparing you to think independently, right? Preparing you to become a problem solver. So those activities were missing in the school days, right? Things were predictable. So now the problem it has created is that students bring the same mindset to UPSC exam preparation, the predictability. So you finish Lakshmikant 4 or 5 times and then you are under the impression that you can answer any polity questions, right? So there is predictability because I have done because people tell you that this is the standard textbook. So obviously when you have completed standard textbook, the expectation is that you should answer these questions, right? So this particular predictability is being demystified, is being broken. So the way you prepare from henceforth should be totally different compared to your previous preparation. So there are two aspects. One, in terms of being mentally, physically prepared to put long hours for long duration of time. Second one, coming out of the predictability mindset. Every day is not going to be same here. In some tests you will do well, in some tests you will not do well. Some questions, even if you know answer, you cannot get it correct. In some answers you will go wrong. In some essays you will not understand the demand of the topic, right? So these things are recurring, these things will keep happening. And when the UPSC examination comes, right, everything that you have studied, right, can go for a toss also when you make it predictable. So you might be asking question within your mind, okay, how do I prepare for unpredictable examination, right? How do I prepare myself for this unpredictability? So there is a formula for it, right, that you have to implement. So this you have to do outside the classroom, right? In class we teach you the subject, right? We will also take care of this particular unpredictability factor. We'll keep training you, but you have to do it on your own outside the classroom, right? Again, it is not a rocket science. So there are, as far as I see, there are 4 to 5 dimensions with respect to preparing yourself for the uncertainty that you are going to face in this examination. Basically what it means is that preparing comprehensively, holistically, being well prepared to face any kind of question in the examination, right? So I have seen people saying that, I have revised 4 to 5 times these books, all the standard textbooks. So that is one category of students, and they assume that they can confidently face prelims or mains. So that category of students is totally kept out of the race. You are not in the race to chase your dream, to fulfill your dream. If you are just revising books, reading books, so what are those things that must be done beyond just reading and revising textbooks, right? Number one task, right? Again, these are the basic things that you have ignored or you are indifferent to, right? So what is the first fundamental basic thing? I am sure some of you have done this and most of you haven't done this. Even if you have done this half-hearted. One, literally memorizing syllabus word to word, right? Prelims, mains, and also if you check syllabus, there is interview syllabus as well. Interview syllabus doesn't give you topics to study. Interview syllabus, it gives you how to be prepared, what are the expectations in the panel. So the first thing you have to do is that take the printout of syllabus, right? Each and every keyword in the prelim syllabus, in all the 4 papers of GS in mains, the essay, there is a paragraph for essay also, what do they expect from you, and then from the interview section. That is one fundamental aspect you have to totally complete, right? Always carry syllabus copy and ensure that you totally memorize, right? Now the syllabus in UPSC says that, for example, in prelims you have to study geography of India and the world, right? And in mains, art and culture from ancient to modern times. So only these two lines are there. For art and culture one line, for geography one line. In mains also there is geography of world, India, physical geography and other things. But the syllabus is not elaborate, it is not descriptive. So what is the second task? How do you know that? There are two aspects when you are preparing. One is depth, another one is the diversity, right? So diversity is the breadth. A topic will have various related dimensions, and a topic will also have certain amount of depth, right? So this depth and diversity you must understand, right? So to understand the diversity factor, like where to stop. For art and culture from ancient to modern times, where do I begin and where do I stop? The one and only authentic source for this is your NCERT textbooks, right? If you read each and every NCERT with curiosity, with keen interest, with some amount of passion, right, you will understand that there is a boundary for each and every topic that is given in the UPSC syllabus, right? So list down each and every topic that is there in NCERT related to art and culture. This is one source, right? And the second source is every previous year question paper, prelims. So now we have like 28 years prelims question paper compilations. Books are available in the market. So for art and culture, I am just giving example of one topic. For art and culture, list down each and every keyword that has come in the last 28 years, right? So you will know the range of related topics for art and culture that UPSC has covered. One is your NCERT, second is previous year question paper. You have to compulsorily make list of these topics, right? So this is regarding the diversity, right? For example, like Buddhism related, UPSC in last 28 years might have asked 10 to 12 different questions. So 10 to 12 different questions cover various aspects of Buddhism. Similarly, within NCERT there are different chapters on Buddhism scattered between class 6 to class 12th. History textbooks, right? So art and culture, the source is both history textbook and there is specifically a fine arts textbook, Introduction to India's Art and Culture in class 11th as well, right? So these are your art and culture sources. So you will know which are all the most important topics from these two sources. Now in NCERT, what they have done is that these books are written for school going kids, school children, right? So the depth of information that is there in these books is for the school examination, not for the UPSC examination, right? So now comes the depth factor, right? Once you know which are all the important topics, so for those topics you have to dig deeper, right? Dig deeper, but again till when will you dig? So that is when your last 10 years mains question paper come into picture, right? It can be 10 years, it can be 20 years, right? So once you know the mains questions, right, what is the level of depth that they are asking, different layers of questions related to a particular topic related to whatever, geography or art and culture or polity, right? So you have to be perfectly aware of, remember syllabus, past 28 years, question papers, the keywords for every topic and everything that is there in the NCERT plus last 10 years mains question papers. So these are the things we are not going to do in the classrooms. We will be covering some of these with each subject. For example, if which subject is starting for you? Indian polity, right? So if it is Indian polity, sir will teach everything sourced from NCERT standard textbooks, not just Lakshmikant, 3-4 different books plus current affairs, right? But you have to put your own extra effort as well. So the candidate who takes care of these 4 aspects, right? The 4 aspects are syllabus, NCERT, previous year prelims question papers, previous year mains question papers. These are the 4 key factors, most important aspects of this exam preparation. If somebody is perfect with these 4, right, I can assure you, I can give you in writing, you are going to clear prelims, you are going to clear mains as well, right. So to achieve the depth, then you have to go beyond NCERT textbooks. So that is when standard books come into picture. It can be Lakshmikant, it can be D.D. Basu for polity, right, or there are books by Subhash Kashyap, some books like Our Parliament, Our Constitution. So better to buy 3-4 books and refer them individually, chapter wise, not for each and every chapter. So the best chapter from each book you have to refer. So then only you will gain the depth. So now what is the 5th dimension to prepare you for this uncertainty, right? How will these 4 factors prepare you for uncertainty is that, right, even though we say uncertainty in terms of, there is uncertainty in UPSC exam, not in terms of the nature of the topics. The topics will remain same. If you look at this year, there are questions on parliament, there are questions on judiciary, philosophy of polity. The same, the nature of question is, the topics are similar, but what has changed is the form. They make it unpredictable in terms of difficulty level or in terms of the type of question that UPSC is asking, right. But the 5th dimension that you have to be prepared is that you have to be curious by nature, and you should have an eye for getting, you should basically have hunger for knowledge, to learn beyond syllabus, beyond previous year papers, beyond NCERT and beyond standard textbooks. The one who has hunger for extra knowledge, again this extra knowledge should be related to these things, but it is not somewhere mentioned in the syllabus. So then comes 2 sources. One is your day-to-day current affairs, right. You have to go through hard copy newspaper, right. You have to make it a habit. The most unfortunate thing is that majority of you are going to start reading the Hindu from now onwards. You might have read Prajavani, some local news, other local newspapers, might be in the habit of reading newspaper now and then, right. But it was not done as a hobby or interest, out of passion, right. So you are going to start from now, and that will also slow down your success. It is the truth, right. This exam requires you to think out of the box. Exam requires you to be curious and have diverse knowledge. This is something that you are going to achieve from now onwards, right. So for some of you it might take more time, for some of you it might take less time, based on if you had already started some of these things, and if you can do consistently the things I told you from now onwards, because everyone is not going to do these things consistently, right. The 2 sources are newspapers, the Hindu including Sunday newspaper as well as Sunday supplement magazine. You might have come across, right, every Sunday there is a supplementary called as magazine, the Sunday magazine. Have you seen it? How many of you have started reading newspaper, the Hindu? In order, Indian Express. Are you reading other papers? See, this is the tragedy. Yaar newspaper otta ilvala. Ensure that start doing it from today. If you are not reading newspapers, you are not in the race. It is as simple as that, right? And you have to read not out of compulsion, not for the examination, right? You have to read because you want to learn, you want to know things, right? You want to be aware of what is happening around you, right? And you want to have your own opinion on the things that are happening around you, and you want to express that opinion to others, you want to share those opinions, right? And when it comes to the interview, that is what will happen, the expression of your opinion, expression of what you know in a very clear, precise, to the point manner. If you are not reading newspaper, then you are out of the race in all the three stages. By luck, even if you make it into interview, in interview you will be eliminated, right? You can miss anything in a day, but never newspaper. Find time. There is time for everything, right? So never complain that you don't have time. You will start complaining. So once we start classes, you will start complaining that you don't have time. You don't have time for optional. You don't have time for current affairs. So then you will start prioritizing things. But reading newspaper, the one who read newspaper with passion has highest chance of clearing prelims. So your art and culture, your geography, polity, economy, everything is covered in day-to-day newspapers, right? So you will learn the basics in the classroom, and how to apply those concepts you will learn only by reading the newspaper. You will also learn critical thinking when you read editorials. You will also learn writing skills, essay writing skill when you read editorials, right? So if you are staying away from that particular source, you are not preparing for the examination. It is as simple as that. So my suggestion, somebody who is already into this process, I recommend 3 newspapers, right? So I am asking you to be prepared for the uncertainty, right? So you should have diverse knowledge. So one is the Hindu, second one is Delhi edition of the Indian Express, the third one is Live Mint. This is business newspaper. So most of your economic concepts you will learn from Live Mint. Live Mint, I think there is an app, you can go to their website and study, and if you can get hard copy, that is also fine. But the Hindu hard copy, Live Mint and the Indian Express, you can read in their app, right? So make it a habit. It's okay to spend sometimes 4 hours in reading news. It is okay to spend 3 hours, right? If you are slow reader, it is okay to spend 5 to 6 hours also. In the beginning it will take more time for some people, some of you who haven't done this. Don't make it an excuse and stop reading paper because it is consuming more time, right? So the another dimension, I was talking about fifth aspect, fifth dimension, in that there are 2 sources. One is newspaper, second one is the extra books, extra reading habit. I know I am scaring you, right? You are getting scared. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿದ್ನಪ್ಪ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಗಿಡಕ್ಕೆ ನೀರು ಹಾಕೊಂಡ, right? So now suddenly I have to do so many things. I am telling you the truth. The easiest way for me to end this session is that you have come to the best institution, right? We have the best faculties. They will teach you everything in the class. They will give you everything in the class. They will give you the best notes. You just read those notes and then you will crack the examination, right? So that is cheating. If I say that and if I repeat that, that is something injustice that I will be doing for you, and that is dishonest also, right? Anybody who says something like this, stay away from them. You will see lots of YouTube videos, right, where they will say that read my notes, everything will come from here, right? The problem is that everybody wants attention, everybody wants more number of students, and you people are intelligent, right? So even I have seen change in the mindset of the students. So the students are not falling trap into such kind of things anymore. right? The exam is evolving. The exam is evolving to international standards. The thing I tweeted was that the UPSC intention is good. It wants to select best people. But unfortunately, our education system hasn't prepared students to face this kind of examination, right? If our education system had prepared you, there was no need for you to come and sit in the coaching center, right? So I would be doing something else, right? Some other business. The coaching industry is the reflection of failure of education system, right? So we are the bridge. We are trying to fill that gap. We have to exist because there is a problem in the education system. Somebody who has done all these things, whatever I told you, imagine from their school days to college days, why will they need coaching if they have the newspaper reading habit, right? So I studied in Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, right? Anybody from Navodaya school here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good, around 8. Yav Navodaya? Shimoga, Raichur, Illi, Dharwad, Haveri, Gadag, Chitradurga ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ ನವೋದಯನಾ? ಊರು ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ. ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ? ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ. ಗುಡ್. ನಮ್ಮೂರು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. So the education system has failed you. So that is the reason you have paid the fees here and preparing for the examination. And though it is unfortunate, right? Now we cannot force UPSC to come down. Some students are doing that. They are filed case against UPSC saying that UPSC should set easy question paper. No, they have done that. I am not joking, right? CSAT question paper should be made easy, and some of the questions in paper 1 are vague and they should be more straightforward, right? So let us not apply mind, just let them be more predictable. We cannot force UPSC, right? So what we have to do is that it is an institution and it has its own goal. Why it is changing? Because the world is changing. The world is so dynamic nowadays. The nature of challenges. For example, when somebody gets into IPS, they are not ready to handle cyber security challenges. If they don't have problem solving skills, if they don't have computer skills, if they don't understand technology in depth, right? If they don't have knowledge regarding technology itself, which is part of your both prelims and paper 3 general studies, you cannot train them also, right? It is difficult to train them. Similarly, when there is a disaster, so if your knowledge of environment is not deep enough, if your knowledge of geography is not deep enough, it is difficult to train you. So we are facing more number of crimes, new types of crimes, new types of environmental problems, new types of agrarian challenges, new types of economic challenges, right? So to solve them, first you should have a solid in-depth knowledge base, and then you should know how to apply that knowledge, right? So precisely UPSC is trying to, there is nothing wrong in UPSC. Unfortunately, as I said, you are not prepared, but from now onwards you can actually prepare for it. For some of you it might take 2 years, some of you it might take 3 years, some of you it might take 4, 5 years as well. So that is the nature of the journey, right? You will be surprised, some of you. So you started now and then you look back, it is already 2028. Oh, for some of you I am telling, right? Some of you will find other ways, other alternatives. That is how the numbers will go on getting reduced. Some of you will clear prelims in one attempt, some of you will clear in two attempts, some of you will get as rank in one attempt itself, right? Every year some of them are doing it. So it all depends from how do you see this examination and how do you see yourself positioned and how do you carry yourself forward. The entire onus is on you, right? So if there is consistency in your efforts and the building blocks, the foundation I talked about, if you are aware of that and if you consistently do it. So how do you do those things? Syllabus, NCERT, prelims and mains previous year questions, and reading current affairs and reading extra books. So if polity is happening for you, so focus only on the polity aspect of these 5 things, right? Syllabus anyway, whole syllabus you should be aware of. So what you need to do when the polity is going from day 1 to day 40 or day 35, during that time at least 3 times you must revise last 28 years every polity question, right? So you can do along with the class or you can do it ahead of the class. So you are not a school kid anymore, you can understand those questions, right? They won't take much of your brain activity to keep certain questions away because the syllabus is not yet completed in the classroom. You are getting this point. So some questions you can solve ahead of the class also. So there may be around like 300 polity questions or maybe 400 Indian polity questions in last 28 years. So 400 questions, even if you do 10 questions every day, in 40 days you can do it. But 10 questions is very less. My suggestion is 20 to 30 questions in a day, minimum 20 questions. So that in 20 days you can complete and then you can go on to revise 2 more times, right? And similarly, last 10 years polity questions, Indian polity questions. So that you can align with the classroom. So if sir is teaching fundamental rights, any question related to fundamental right, you try to prepare answer for it and you can come and show to your mentors regularly, right? The third one is anything that is important related to Indian polity that appears in newspaper, right? So be extra curious about it during that phase. While reading entire newspaper, with respect to Indian polity thing, you have to be extra curious and note down those. You can make notes on those things maybe, right? Compulsorily. You may miss out making notes on other topics from the newspaper. So I was the one, I used to be against notes making earlier, but now there is another concept that I think I have phrased, I come up with a phrase that is the demand of the UPSC, that is certainty of knowledge. You should be certain of the knowledge you possess. In prelims what is happening, there is no elimination anymore. You cannot guess, you cannot do intelligent guessing, you cannot eliminate by doing some logic. You have to know the answer. For sure you should know the answer, then only you can choose one of the options. Only one pair is right, 2 pair is right, only one correct, second correct, something like this. So that to achieve that certainty of knowledge, there are 4 things. One, of course, reading, revising. Reading and revising 90% of the people do, right? Reading, making notes, revising, some people do. Reading, making notes, revising, and then applying it, practicing it. The 4th one, less than 5% people do, the practicing thing. It is the truth. 95% people are comfortable reading, right? Maybe revising, some of you making notes. Make sure that you also make notes of everything that you come across, any knowledge, because another day you won't remember it, you won't even recall, right? So what was there in yesterday's newspaper? You have to make notes and then you have to revise and then choose questions related to them and keep solving. So for that there are 2 sources for when it comes to current affairs. One is our prelims quiz Every day we post on our website 20 MCQs on current affairs. Multiple choice questions, 20 multiple choice questions every day on our website. Plus we post 6 to 7 mains current affair questions. It is called as secure initiative, insights secure initiative. So this quiz you can start doing it, but secure maybe after 1 or 2 months. So don't try to do from the day one itself, right? So I'll also talk about what are the things that you should do in the beginning, the most important, and how you can slowly start doing more number of things, right? So anybody who applies this knowledge, right, will have the certainty of knowledge, and your scores in prelims and our mains test will go on increasing exponentially, right? Otherwise it will be flat. And some of you suffer from the problem of resistance. So there is resistance within you to do something new, to make notes, because you haven't done it so far, right? So you will find an excuse that I don't know how to make it. So you start searching for everything, and for that Sudeep sir has made a video on our YouTube channel. You can watch that YouTube video, Insights IAS channel, and you can learn how to make notes, right? But that resistance you have to overcome, and then there is resistance to write answers and essays. So we ask you to write answer, we ask you to write essays. Some people will never do that. So why are you standing? Come and sit here now. Come. So there is this resistance to answer writing. You know what it does when you don't write answers. So let us say tomorrow in Indian polity class, sir will ask you to write one answer, right? Some of you will write because you know something, some of you will not write because you don't know anything. Some of you might want to learn something about it and then attempt the question. Some of you will go back and write, and there are a category of student who will not do this, who will not write answers. You know what it does? So there is one fear among students: when I write an answer, I am going to write a very bad answer. That is why I will not write an answer, because it is going to be bad. So our teacher will judge, our mentor will judge, your peer, the one around you, might judge. So, or you might judge yourself, right? So my answer is going to be very poor, so I am not going to write it. So what you will say, you will learn better. So you will download the topper copy. You will go and ask the teacher how to write, and then you will refer to somebody who has written answer, how they have written, and similarly. And then you try to write again, there is fear, you cannot write. What it does is that compared to the one who writes, let us assume that there are two people here. So she writes an answer, a very poor answer, right? So he has the peer because he is still in PUC. Right? No, I am just kidding. You will also write, but I am just taking you as an example. So he doesn't write out of the fear. So he will continue to do this for next 2 to 3 months, right? And she has written a very poor answer, and what she does is that she is courageous. She comes to her mentor and shows. Her mentor will tell, your answer is rubbish, but good, you have done your effort. So go back and write another answer, try to improve. They will tell you where to improve. So she gets confidence even after telling that it is rubbish, right? No, you should have that mindset. When people criticize, take it in a positive way. And she will go back and write another answer. She will do this for next 2 to 3 months every day, right? By the end of 3 months, she will be writing the best answer, near perfect answer. And what he will be doing? So after 3 months, he gets the courage, right? Now people around me have started writing. If I remain like this, it is a grave injustice to myself, the money I have invested, my parents' hopes, right? Expectations of people around me. Let me do it, right? So in the month of October 1st, so by then 3 months, So he starts doing it. So if he starts in October, then he will start, if he is consistent, he will start seeing improvement in the month of January. Maybe he might achieve that status in January, and then what she would be doing in January? She will be more confident. Maybe she would have started with optional answer writing. She will be writing essays, right? She will be doing prelims, mock tests, right? So that is how it holds you back, and it ensures that you will never progress in this competition when you don't do something because of any excuse. Fear is also an excuse, right? You will find the excuses are invented by you, right? Yourself, your mind will invent excuses. Nobody puts it on you. Even when things are absolutely perfect, even then we will invent excuses because there is resistance within you to do something that is holding you back. So ensure that the moment you think of an excuse, you see that it is your invention and you should not yield to it. You have to overcome it, right? So in terms of answers, in terms of number of questions you are going to solve, in terms of number of mains previous year question, I will give you just numbers. What is the minimum target you have to achieve by end of April in 2024, right? When it comes to multiple choice questions, right? If you want to clear next year prelims in one attempt, 20,000 MCQs is the minimum number of questions you have to solve by April. It includes previous year questions, it includes our test questions, it includes questions from question banks, questions from quiz compilations that are there in the website, any MCQs. But compulsorily previous year questions must be the core part of it, right? For all the subjects I am talking about. So let us say 2000 questions for Indian polity, 2000 for geography, 2000 for history, right? Maybe around 500 for art and culture, around 2000 for environment, right? Maybe 3,000-4,000 for current affairs, 4,000-5,000 for current affair questions, right? It will have more number of questions. So on our website, in 10 months, we post 5,000 questions of current affairs. Every day, if you count. So in a month, we post 500 questions. Every day 20 questions, excluding Sunday, 25 days, 500 questions, and 10 months, 5,000 questions. So easily you are solving 5,000 questions there itself. If you do every day, you can revise them monthly basis. And if you do these prelims, previous year questions on daily basis, it will be easy to revise. Again, those 20 questions, right? So once you exhaust previous year question, then when you move on to other questions, they will also become 5,000-6,000 questions. And then weekly questions. So you will get access to nearly 100 prelims question papers, right, from our side. So we will give access to 2 prelim test series, and then you will get 10,000 questions there also. So you don't have to go outside, the institution and the sources. The questions will be there. So there is no excuse. So that is one target. And the second one is bit ambitious, right? So I am talking from the perspective of pushing you to crack this examination in one attempt. 1,000 question and answers, right? 1,000 mains question and answers by end of April. You can do it actually. How many days are there till end of April? Till end of April, how many days are there? From, let's say, from July 4 to April 30, 300 or 294 something. Let us say 300 days, right? So even if you write 3 answers every day, average. I am not asking you to write 3 answers from today itself, or tomorrow, or even next in 1 month also. So these questions will also include the weekly test and monthly test. So weekly you are going to give 10 tests 10 question test. Monthly we are going to give 20 question test also. One question we ask you to write in the classroom itself, right? So writing one answer is compulsory, writing weekly test is compulsory. In a week you are going to write at least 15 answers or 16 answers, combined these, right? And then slowly when you feel confident, the secure initiative which I mentioned, you can pick 2 questions from there and you can add to your answer writing, right? Combined you can write 1000 answers. Are you all really ambitious? Yes or no? Like how many of you resolve that, okay, in this attempt I am going to crack this examination, then only go back home. Till then I am not going to my home even for a single day. Anybody here? Good. So what about others? ಹಬ್ಬಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆದಾಗ ಹೋಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕು ನಾವು, ರೈಟ್? ಗಣಪತಿ ಹಬ್ಬ, ದೀಪಾವಳಿ, ದಸರಾ, ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಮಸ್, ಸಂಕ್ರಾಂತಿ, ಯುಗಾದಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈದ್ ಮಿಲಾದ್, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತವೆ. In front of you, right, there is an opportunity to crack this examination in one attempt. So there are examples in the past who have actually done this in one attempt, right? Nimge ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, when you look into yourself, when you ask yourself, do you have the capability to do this? Are you confident? So ask yourself, are you really confident? Yes or no? I don't hear yes, like resounding yes. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Remember this yes. Will you remember? Will you remember?
Yes, sir.
What will you remember? You will remember the yes, but do you remember for what question you said yes? Do you have the capability? And you believe that you have the capability, right? And now it is just the execution. You have the capability. I know that. I have the confidence that everyone sitting in this room has the capability. It is just execution. The things I told you, like 20,000 question. Anyone who does that, including CSAT questions, right? There is no way that you are going to fail in prelims paper. Absolutely, there is no way. And if you start early from now onwards, and absolutely there is no way that you are going to fail in prelims. What it does is that, like 20,000 is a number, right? So 20,000 questions will make you familiar to, let us say, 40,000 different topics or 40,000 different concepts. I am just taking twice the number of 20,000. In some question there are 3 options, 4 options, 5 options, 6 options, right? So if I take it maybe 50,000, 60,000, let us say 40,000 topics, right? So you are going to get exposed to, get familiarized with the nearly 40,000 topics and concepts. This is in addition to what you are going to learn in newspapers, what you are going to learn from writing answers, what you are going to learn from the classroom, from NCERT, from other standard sources. This is in addition to, right? It's basically reinforcement. And in the examination you have 100 questions in the paper 1. So let us take 2 options per question on an average, 200 different choices or options, right? Or maybe 300. So 200, so what is the percentage of it out of 40,000? Out of 40,000, 200 by 20,000, how much? 0.1 0.5? Are you sure? And I don't know, I am just asking. Calculator? 0.5, sure? Okay, he says 0.5, I will take that as 0.5, right? So I was thinking 0.05 or something, maybe 0.5. So don't you think that you will have that 0.5% knowledge when you go to prelims? Don't you think that you will be familiar with that 0.5%? What do you think? You learned 40,000 different things, right? And if you ensure that it is revised, repeated, remembered, out of 100, blindly you can put 60 questions right, and confidently you can walk out of the examination hall, right? So what we do is that, what most of the candidates try to do is that, everything I told, they keep it pending till February, March. Then they take all the mock tests, right? Then they take all the questions and try to solve them in the end. Till then, they are in the college mindset. Let me acquire knowledge, let me finish everything, and then go and solve question papers. If somebody goes with this methodology, this mindset, in the end, when you are reading so much, your mind is not capable of remembering so much, right? If you don't read, revise, write, apply, and one step forward, discuss them also with your friends, you are not going to keep this in your long term memory, right? The early you begin, right, the more number of times you keep doing this, your success rate increases proportionately, right? So these are the fundamentals. And similarly, when you write 1000 answers, and between prelims and mains, right, you will write another 400, 500 answers, right? So let us say you write around 1500 answers, and somehow you have revised, because it is there in your notebook, you have revised them, and you have got them corrected, you have got the feedback. So in mains examination, all you need to write is 80 answers, right? Around 80 questions from 4 GS papers and around 80 answers. So 80 questions out of 1400 or 1500. So what is the percentage? How much? 5-6% maybe, right? So in mains, the probability is even higher in mains, right? So when you are familiar with thousands of topics, and for these topics, if you have written in-depth answers and remembered them, out of 80 questions, you will know for sure 60-70 answers. So that is how you have to win this uncertainty of the examination. So there is a way forward, and everything I told can be done by you, right? So in a day, to solve 20 to 30 questions, UPSC gives 100 questions and asks you to solve in 2 hours. It gives you 100 questions and asks you to solve in 2 hours. It gives the time limit of 2 hours, right? So 30 questions, you can do it in maybe 45 minutes, right? And reading about those 30 questions, you can spend another 1 extra hour, 2 hours, right? So every day somehow spend 2 hours on solving these prelims questions, classroom questions, current affair questions, and previous year questions related to that subject. This is in addition to class, right? In addition to 3 hours. So in addition to 3 hours, then go and revise the class notes for half an hour to 1 hour, right? And then 1 hour newspaper reading. In the beginning, just do only these things. No need of extra answer writing, no need of doing optional in the very beginning itself. So optional and all you can do after like 2 months. So don't immediately enroll for any optional coaching and try to make your day very hectic. So if you are spending 6 to 7 hours only in the classroom, so outside you will not have patience, temperance to do all these extra exercise. It is not possible. So take it slowly, it's okay. And in my opinion, 2025 should be the target for all of you. 24 should be there in your mind and prepare with intensity. But as I said, everyone doesn't come with equal background, with a high quality education, reading newspapers since school college days, having so much of general knowledge from school college. You don't come with that kind of background, right? So it actually takes more time for you to do all these things. So it's okay to prepare till 2025 April and give one and only attempt in 2025. That should be your one and final attempt for UPSC. So the plan is till April or May you will complete the foundation course, GS, right? And then you can enroll for optional, right, in the month of, let us say, June, July, August, September. Or you can enroll in the month of August or September also, complete it by December. But from June, July onwards, next year, it should be only application of whatever you have learnt. Mains test series, daily 4-5 answers, weekly test, and daily 40-50 MCQs, revising whatever you have done, and reading bit extra books like fiction and non-fiction, the fifth dimension I was talking about, right? And then in 2025, one and only attempt. By then you will be totally prepared. So in 1 year I am asking you to write 1000 answers. So you double it, right, by 2025. You double the MCQs also. You can tell your parents, don't be in a hurry also. Convince them that give me 2 years time, right? I will prepare thoroughly well. And again, so once you are OGP student, you are a OGP student, permanent student here. So next year, if you get the confidence that everything you have covered, you don't have to enroll for any course. So we have these options of without evaluation mains tests. So, but when we say without evaluation, you can bring them for evaluation personally to your mentors. You can show some answers, you can show some essays, right? You don't have to give money next year. So ensure that you plan it properly, right? Understand your own limitations, understand your own weaknesses, accordingly you plan. It is not universally applicable. Some of you have, if you are really confident, whatever I told, if you are going to do it by April, and if you gain the confidence, give it examination in 2024 also, right? Like Avinash ranked 31 previous year, he did that. So he was there here for 12 months, he completed everything. In that period, he wrote like 30-40 essays, nearly 1000 plus answers. And the same, like he told me around 16,000 MCQs he had solved. So he got through. So this is the formula for your success. So now we will go back to the first idea we discussed. So what it takes is minimum 8 hours, maximum 14 hours. Somehow if you can achieve the 10 hours threshold, 12 hours threshold, and keep it that way for long duration, you are going to crack this examination in one attempt. And remaining, we have very good teachers for all the subjects, right? For all the subjects. Recently we got a new economy faculty and people are loving him, right? So the feedback is extremely good. So our old economy, of course, so he has a fan base, he is also very good. So the new faculties whom we are taking after only due consideration, and every faculty is equally good for every subject, right? So when it comes to completion of syllabus, right, teaching you concepts clearly and ensuring that the knowledge that they give is only related to the demand of the examination, you will never feel bad about it, you will never feel anything, there won't be any complaints. So you will perfectly get everything. So in the classroom and conducting test, every week we conduct test without fail, and after the subject completion we conduct a complete test on the subject, and all these are evaluated. So 35% of the fees which you have paid goes only for the evaluation, right? 35% of the fees which you have paid goes only for the evaluation of answers. Forget about mentorship, forget about daily classes, the salary, the extra attention you get, prelim test series and other things, right? So what we ensure is that the money you have paid is invested in you, right? So almost 90% of it is actually invested back, and we pay 18% GST. Whatever amount you have paid, 18% is goes to the government. And we are sincere in this, and we are honest and dedicated. So the same should be reciprocated, right? So we are an institution who are student centric, sensitive to students' demand and students' interests. So we keep open door policy, we keep hearing your feedback and your suggestions, right? Any concern is almost immediately addressed when it is properly brought to our notice. If you just email and forget, nobody reads email. So as I said, our doors are open. Anything you can come and directly talk to us, right? Everyone is responsive and everyone is responsible here. So ensure that you do your part. So remove the college mindset and come out of it. You are in a new region, new area, new arena, new kind of field. So accordingly you have to mold your personality, right? So I keep saying that you must be knowing that this entire UPSC preparation is also a transformation of your personality. So after a few months your parents will be very proud of you, right? The way you maturely speak, the way your knowledge is there, the way you start giving them suggestions, right? They will be very proud of you, they will be very happy about you. And you should be happy about yourself. Any mental health issue related, immediately address it, right? Any anxiety you face, any stress you face, right? Any issue, it can be small, not getting sleep or anything, ensure that it is immediately addressed. So don't hesitate to get medical care for it, medical attention, professional advice, professional assistance, right? So it is not a taboo, it is not a what? It's not a topic that we should not discuss, it's not like that, right? It's okay. If you have any problem, you can come and discuss openly with me also, with our team members, and all faculties act as your mentors also, right? So you will slowly realize, everyone is humble, everyone is down to earth, everyone listens, right? It is just that you have to open up. So don't keep anything to yourself. If you are suffering, it can be anything, right? So use the platform, use the resources, and whenever somebody comes to my cabin, parents tell me that, I am putting my son or daughter here, with the hope that, you are going to make them IAS, IPS. What is my first dialogue? There are two dialogues I deliver. One is, ensure that your child makes use of every available resources. If you are not making use of us, if you are not making use of the resources, I cannot guarantee, I cannot promise it. Because I cannot come to your room and drag you from there and ask you to come and get your answer evaluated, or it is not a school to enforce discipline that we will bar you from the class if you don't come and write the test. For example, if you don't come and write the Sunday test, can I say that we will bar you from attending the class? I cannot do that, right? I mean, that is stupidity. So I love freedom, I love my freedom, and I ensure that everybody loves their freedom. People should have freedom to act on their own, to act according to their will. But when you are chasing a dream, right, there is a method, there is a framework, there is a roadmap, there is a path. So you should trust that path, you should have faith in that, even when you don't like doing it, right? Some of you should drag yourself to the classroom and you have to do it. That is your responsibility. The second dialogue I tell is that, so the more number of times they come and visit us, the more I am familiar with them, the more my teacher is familiar with the child, the more my mentor is familiar with this particular kid of yours, higher the chances of him or she cracking this examination. If we don't see you, if you don't see us, if you don't come and talk, if you don't come and show your answers, right, there is no way that, I mean, you might crack, some of you eventually, but the chances are very less because the experiences we have, right. So for me, like, I don't know how many thousands of essays I have evaluated, lakhs of answers I have seen over the years, like, individually, right. I use the word lakhs of answers because thousands of students have shown, like, so over the years. And I go to Delhi Center, our teachers go to Delhi Centers, our mentors go to Delhi Center, and they see the best of the copies there, right. So we are a pan-India institution, right. So we are one of the best institutions in India. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it is yes only, right. So there is no other word about it. I am very proud about it, right. So the experience, the exposure we have got, right. So we see the nature of answers. For example, the second rank, I took her mock interview personally, right. I guided her for interview this year, and she called and she expressed her gratitude, and she also came to felicitation. I think she got 197 in the interview, but she was not our student of prelims or mains test series. But I have seen her answer copy, and while discussing with her, I was just exploring how did she prepare and the way she was giving her answers. So I took the mock interview, and 2 to 3 students were sitting in my room. It was an online mock from Bangalore I had done. So I told the students sitting in front of me that this girl is definitely going to get a rank in top 3, right. So we'll immediately come to know, your depth of knowledge, your personality. And when I ask about, okay, optional, how much you are getting in mock test, you say like, okay, 125, 130, 145, I am in the top 3 bracket in, mock test in our institution, in whichever institution. So that will tell us that the student in front of me is somebody who is showing great progress, who has the great potential. So, and I have rightly predicted, rank 1 in 2016 Nandini KR. So there is a clip. So she gave interview to Vijayawani. So there is an interview. So you can see, like, in 2016 June or July, that interview was given. So there is a question, where did you take classes and all? She says that she took guidance under me in this institution. So Vinay sir used to tell me that I was going to get rank 1, and I used to always laugh because I never believed that I would get rank 1, but he always believed. And 1 month before the result, I was telling, after our interview went well, because at that time I was alone in the institution. I had seen her every essay, every answer copy, and that was the best I had seen till then. So in 2014 I had got rank 8 also, one of my students. So but that was something extraordinary. So I told rank 1, and then she got All India rank 1. She got All India rank 1 not because of me or not because of insights. It is purely because of her own talent, her own hard work. She possessed that kind of talent. Every rank 1 since then, or even every topper for that matter, right? They have these factors, the one we discussed. Somehow they drag themselves, somehow they ensure that they are passionate about improving their chances of cracking this examination. They are passionate, even when they don't like doing something, they keep doing it, right? So that is how you improve your chances, maximize your chances of cracking this examination. And all of you can do it. When you do it, as I said, the transformation will take place, and you will see yourself as a potential topper, and we will see that. We will validate, we will certify before the examination that, and it happens like textbook in some cases, they clear prelims. We'll tell, okay, good. We'll tell you will clear mains, they will clear mains. They'll go to interview. In our interview transcript, interview experience, one-on-one, So we will tell them you will score 190 plus 200 plus, and 90% of the students for whom I have predicted 190, 200 plus, they have actually got, right. Again, it is not rocket science from my side. I see that in their personality. And when we have this experience, so we will be able to identify. So that is why I give this dialogue, I deliver this dialogue. If your children is not meeting us, right. So we will not be able to share our experience, we will not be able to share our little wisdom, whatever wisdom we have got with respect to this examination, to ensure that you are in the right direction, right. And what happens is, unfortunately, chocolate, right? Chocolate ಕೊಡ್ತಾನಂತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. So this is our tradition for all OGP, for every batch. We give you, this Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate. ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ? And I deliver this dialogue also for every batch. Right. So I have been very honest with you from the beginning, right. And we are going to be honest with you henceforth also. So if your essay is bad, I am going to tell the essay is really bad. If it deserves 0 marks, I am going to give 0 mark. If it deserves 20, I will give 20. And at the same time, I will tell you that this is how it begins, right. I have seen people scoring 20 and then going on to score 70 when we evaluate essay. In the weekly mock test, out of 10 questions, you might end up writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different numbers. So your score might range from 5, 10, but eventually you will improve it to 50, 60 also. Some people score more than 50, it is out of 100, right. So out of 250 mark, 125 is the weekly test. Out of 250 marks, you might start with 30, 40, 50, and eventually you will end up with 90 to 100. So the frequency, the regularity with which you do all these things really matters, right. So please do these things. So look back into your life, where you have come from, and what are all the things you have been through all your life. You look back, right, and then ask this question, right. So can I be a better person than who I used to be? Again, this is another choice of yours. You have to carefully do these things, really very carefully, right. So I have seen people quitting after 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months, after 1 attempt, after 2 attempts. And one thing I have realized is that anybody who is passionate and irrespective of where they start from, despite some people will start from absolute zero. There are Kannada medium students who can't even read English, who can't understand English. They have improved English, they start writing in English. It took them more years, but they have done that, right. But in the end, so now if the class has 250 students here sitting in this classroom, after 3-4 years, I will see maybe around 10-20 students who are very regular, right. And it is those students who will eventually go on getting the ranks. I am not asking you to be in this cycle, right. So give yourself 2 to 3 years, right, with all the intensity, with all the honesty, and after that go for either higher education or for a job, right. So don't forever get stuck here. So in 1 year you can complete everything, the foundation course, you can learn how to write essay, how to write answers, everything. So after that also you can go for higher education or job. So my formula is that 2 years intense preparation, right. From 3rd year either go for higher education or go for a job and then prepare, right. Try to crack it in 1 attempt. If it doesn't happen in 1 attempt, go for higher education or a job and then continue. So if you invest 8 to 14 hours in 1 attempt, in the first attempt, first 2 years, after that you don't have to give that much amount of time. 4 to 6 hours every day is sufficient, right? So that you won't complicate your life. You won't have this inferiority complex. You won't have this complex, where you keep comparing with your classmates. I mean, college mates, colleagues. So they would be. It happens in 2 years. So if you have graduated from good college and if your classmates have got campus placement right now, so they will be earning in lakhs after 2 years, and you will be still dependent on your parents' income. In Insights, one wonderful thing happens, which I am very proud about it. Right? Now I am not talking about we are going to give you money or anything. Yeah, in a way, indirectly we do. Some people tell, they are well dressed and they are good. They don't appear like very poor. They come, they confidently ask, "Sir, I am enrolling for this course. I want discount. I want some discount." So then I say, okay, you look good. Sometimes we have to judge by, I should not do it. Sometimes I do it. Some people wear, Lacoste t-shirt and then ask discount. So then they wear, this G-Shock watch, that big watch, and they then ask discount. So then what happened? Then they say that, so I don't want to ask my parents. Right, I was working, I exhausted my savings, right, but I don't want to ask my parents for money here. But you are asking me, right? Of course, I won't humiliate them by asking, am I your parent or something. I feel good about it. The reason is that we get connected. So they have this confidence that this institution somehow is considerate, right? And I am sure there are so many of you sitting here who have availed some sort of discount or some sort of consideration, right? Yes or no? At least those who have availed. You don't want to say yes, right? The point here is that this kind of relationship should continue, right? So I will have trust on you. You should have trust on the institution, the people working here, because it all culminates in interview guidance, and then we will know your personality. We will understand you better. We will be able to guide you better. The more we understand you, the more better will be our guidance towards you, for you, right? So ensure that you stay healthy, both physically and mentally, right? This mental health is something has become very big problem nowadays, right? And the sources could be so many things, not just the preparation related. In some cases, relationship related issues also come up, right? लगता है ಏನು ಸಮಾಚಾರ ಗರ್ಲ್ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ right? So that this I try to avoid, this particular topic. This is none of my business, right? But I see people come with these issues, and it happens. Self control is something that is very difficult for both the sexes. So especially when you have freedom, when you have anonymity, right? When you come from far away places, and now you will feel in the no, I am not going to do this, right? But eventually you will get attracted, and some of you will do this. There is nothing wrong about it, absolutely nothing wrong. As long as you can do 20,000 MCQs, you can write 1,000 plus answers, you can write all of our tests, you can study for 10 to 12 hours, you do whatever you want. It's none of my business, right? But if you are sidelining these things and get carried away with that thing, that is totally wrong, right? And if you are doing that after honestly quitting UPSC, right, then that is right. You have decided, no, love is my aim, she is my life, right, or he is my life, so I am quitting UPSC, I am going to help him or her in their preparation, right? And you have made a decision, then that is also right. But if you are trying to balance both, one is suffering, in the beginning your preparation will suffer, and in the end both of you will suffer, right? So just ensure that there is clarity, there is professionalism, right, in such kind of things, and your preparation doesn't suffer. So what happens is that it drags your preparation, makes 1-2 year preparation into 4, 5, 6 year preparation. So earlier we used to say that it has become 5-year plan, and so nowadays we don't have 5-year plans. Why? Why we don't have 5-year plans? Because of Niti Ayog. Okay. What is the full form of Niti? Very good. You're from Niti Ayog. Okay. So finally, optional. Coming back to preparation. So there are two things I want to talk about optionals, right? Don't choose professional courses as your optionals. Medical science, electrical, civil, mechanical engineering, right? Agriculture and law optional if you have really done passionately, right? And in these professional courses, if you have done masters in them, like you have done MTech in civil engineering, if you are confident, go with it, right? If you have done masters in medical science, maybe you can go with medical science. Law, anyway, 5.5 years, 5 years, and if you have really studied with passion, then you can go with law optional, right? And mathematics, some people think that I scored 100 out of 100 in PU, and then engineering first year I was really good in mathematics, so I will go with maths optional. No, you will never crack this examination when you have maths with such kind of thinking. So if you want to go with mathematics optional, you should have done something about it in last 4-5 years, and you should know each and every part of the topic, then only you go with it. Otherwise, don't go with it. The reason is that now humanities optionals have become more popular. Within them, political science, sociology, anthropology, and then literature. Like you can go with Kannada literature, then geography, and then maybe other like psychology, public administration. But I recommend these optionals, right, popularly. Public administration only if you really have a deep analytical mindset, if you understand analytical content very easily, and if you think in that direction, because to understand question itself is difficult in PubBad, right? So then in that case you can go with PubBad. So there is nothing wrong with the public administration also. But the primary factor in considering optional is that you should be able to spend less time on optional and should be able to complete it fast and then score 250 to 275 marks with minimum effort, right? So now to be in top 100, you need to score around 270 marks in optional. Just write down, I will give you targets, right? I mean, what is the marks that you need to achieve in each GS paper and essay paper and optional. The target in optional is around 270 to 275. Maybe you can write it as 275, right? Essay paper 130 to 140. 130 minimum, 140 plus. Let us say 130. Essay. GS2, sorry, GS1 110. GS2 120. GS3 95. GS4 120. Right. So how much it comes to total? How much it comes to? 8? Gunakara, Bhagakara. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು? 8? Yeah. Some of you might have put like 140 something like that. So there is variation. Let us say 850. Okay. 850 plus in the interview 190. Right. How much? 1,000? 1,000? So 1,040, right? So rank 12 this year, 2022, 1,041. Abhinav Sivach, right? So the rank 1 score was 1094. 1094, 901 in mains and 193 in interview. So ranked in 1043. Okay. So the point here is that these are the numbers you have to imprint in your mind when you write answers every day, right? When you start writing essays, when you start preparing for optional, when you start eventually writing optional answers, right? So how do you achieve? Out of 20 questions, on an average, your mark should be 5.5 to 6, right? In GS papers. Paper 3, for some reasons, it is very difficult to score 100 plus. So that is why I have given it as 90 to 95. So only those who have strong science and tech knowledge of security issues, they have upper hand in the paper 3, right? In addition to economy, geography and environment, SNT and security issue they ignore in paper 3. Anyway, we have very good faculty for that, but from current affairs, from extra sources, we have to keep learning about them, right? So these are the, let us say, magic numbers or something. So you have to be ambitious, right? So think like this, think being in top 10, being in top 20, rather than getting scared over, clearing prelims, or just imagining yourself to clear prelims, clear mains. Wrong mindset, wrong goals will mislead you, will not help you reach your goal. When you are undermining your own ability, undermining your own potential, right? You won't live up to the true potential you have. And it is a possibility. So what I mean is that, so out of 10 marker, so target 5.5 to 6 marks when you write weekly test. And when you write daily question, ask your mentor or teacher, so out of 10, how many marks you are going to give? And out of 15, 7.5 to 8, right? So to get 7.5 marks from you, sir, what is the level of content I should develop and show it on the paper, right? So what happens, eventually people will learn so many things, but the category of people who show that knowledge on the paper in their answers, right, is very few. And if you can achieve this, whatever you are learning, if you can show in your paper, in your answers, then you have achieved the threshold to crack this examination. There is nothing extra, anything new to do for you, right? So that is why we have integrated answer writing on a daily basis, weekly basis, and that is why we have integrated mentorship as well, right? So if we can have these numbers in your mind, so essay 130 means 65 and 65, right? So when you start writing essay, eventually your target should be achieving 65 to 75. To whomever you show, Paris sir will be handling essay classes. So when, and all of your mentors can also check your essays. So when you show them, ask them, how do I achieve 65 to 75 marks? So if you say, let us say that if you achieve this by December, right? So you do tick mark essay 130. Keep writing them again, don't stop, because essay is something, the more you learn, the more diversity, the more enriching ideas you can bring into your essays. Remember the Sunday magazine I mentioned, right? So that is the best source for your essay content. Every Sunday the Hindu releases magazine, right? Magazine means it's a supplement. So it will have a totally new perspective on various issues, and it will have so many book reviews. It will have travel logs, food review, some culture related articles, sometimes some science related stuff, something beyond your syllabus. The more you are aware of such kind of knowledge, remember it, you can bring totally new, unique, different examples in your essays. If you start from now, by the time you write your mains essay, you will have like 50-60 different magazine editions, and from that hundreds of unique examples, right? So in addition to that, definitely read extra books. So daily, even if you read 10-20 minutes, in a year you can complete easily 20 books, right? 20, it can be story books, fiction, non-fiction books, right? How will you know which book to read? So if you are ambitious, if you have taste for good books, you can just open, for example, there is a Nobel Prize for Literature, right? So which are all the books that have got, or authors who have got the Nobel Prize for Literature? So they are the best authors, obviously, in the entire world. So from Rabindranath Tagore was also one of them, right? So we have so many authors. So you can just, it started in 1901, I think 1901, and till now we have maybe 120 different authors. So you just select 10-15 books from them and you can start reading them. So there is another list for fiction, Man Booker Prize, Arundhati Roy, she got, and I think Anita Desai, there was one more, and then Arvind Adiga. Here. So there are many authors of Indian origin. So from there you can also select another 10 books. Even if you read 10 or 20 books, from these lists, your interview and essay will definitely rock, right? Especially essay, you will do really well. So all it takes is 10 to 15 minutes reading every day, right? In 1 month you can complete easily 1.5 books. So again I repeat, these are the things that I wanted to convey that you won't get outside, because still the world believes that the exam can be cracked by reading books, memorizing them and other things. So if you do everything what I told in this session, that is the intention of orientation session. So till interview you will have the confidence and you will do well in every stage of the examination. You will get the confidence when you read different books, when you read paper, when you solve questions, when you write answers. Your confidence will be very high, and when your confidence is very high, there will be consistency. You will keep repeating it, because you are sensing, you are feeling the progress, right? So this is all about the orientation and about what you must do, and ultimately it's up to you, right? And one question that I've asked at the end of the session, so despite telling this plainly, I love repeating things, I love saying these things, I don't get tired of saying these things, because this is the truth, right? So this is what ultimately will get you the rank, not the other way around or any other way. But very few people will eventually implement it, and that is the question mark. Why not everyone? So why can't everyone sitting in this room do these things, right? And if you can somehow do these things, then you are a sure shot winner. There is no doubt about it. I absolutely don't have doubt about it, because even if, let us say that, even if you don't crack this examination, even after doing everything, you are a winner in your life. You can do so many things, because by then your ambition will be very high, and you can get it into Harvard or Oxford or Cambridge or Stanford, MIT, even National Law School, right? Or even our IIM. You can crack CAT examination. There you can do a very good course, maybe in public policy, or maybe in artificial intelligence, maybe in some where you can again come back to the corridors of power. There is a way. IAS is not the only way. You would give your best. So if this doesn't happen, but if you have really prepared yourself well, right, and after 2 to 3 years, if you find another interest, and if you pursue it, and then if you really want to come back, there are other opportunities available nowadays. If you are see, ultimately IAS, the dream is not only for power or all the perks and incentives, right? It is for the public service. You want to be in civil service for public service, right? So the public service can be done either through civil services or through lateral entry as well later, right? Or outside civil service as well. So there are n number of opportunities. So be ambitious, be very clear with respect to what is going to come. The storm is coming, Have the dialogue of the storm is coming. Which movie? What? Dark Knight. What is a Dark Knight? So watch movies also. Right. People think that I am very busy. I ensure that I watch at least 2 to 3 movies in a week. Try to read 1 or 2 books. Right. Try to come to institution every day. Take care of the students. Take care of the family. And nowadays developing other ambitions. So try to pursue them also. So what I eventually discovered is that we have time for everything. It is up to us, right? And take fitness also. Go to gym or do something in the morning. I was not doing these things. So then the more you started doing, then I started realizing that everybody has that same time. Everybody has the potential. It is just like how you take them seriously in your life. So all clear for all of you? Good. Any doubts? Any doubts? No doubts?
So regarding the mentorship, can it be started? When can it be started?
It will start from today, tomorrow itself. So mentorship will start immediately. We will allot mentors to you by today or tomorrow. Right? You can start meeting them. Okay.
What about management as an option?
No, I won't recommend management. So it's not doing well. So economics only, again, if you have done honors in economics. Okay. So my personal choices are 4. Right? Political science, sociology, anthropology, and literature. Kannada literature or Telugu literature, it depends on you. Any other questions? ಏನು ಮೇಡಮ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಊಟ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ವಾ? So this is the only exam where in Bangalore I see people losing weight. And eventually again people will start developing one particular new hobby, that is meditation. So why meditation? To deal with stress. You get stressed. Yeah, so can you listen for another 5 minutes? Okay. So you can make entire journey enjoyable, right? You don't have to take stress. How? The way we look at the preparation matters, right? Just because you're preparing for IAS, just because everything that you're going to learn is new, so don't take it as burden. And I have this favorite dialogue, focus on the process, not on the outcomes, right? So what we do is that we lose sight on the process, being in the present, practicing the mindfulness. So what we do is that we are always focused on the outcomes, the tomorrow, right? So whether I am going to crack this examination, whether will I crack this exam in my first attempt, will I be able to crack CSAT, will I be able to crack prelims? You are not prepared yourself, right? You haven't allowed yourself to prepare for it, but you are already worrying about the outcome. Now in the process what happens is that you will always lack preparation, you will never prepare yourself. The part of mind is so much obsessed with the outcome, right? You will lose focus on the present, the thing that should be done right now. Either it getting postponed, or you will keep it imperfect, and ensure that you always remain vulnerable, weak. So that should not be done. So never focus on the end result. One day at a time, within one day, one thing at a time. While you are in the class, total attention on the class, right? If you are not understanding, then don't start worrying about, am I capable, will I crack or not? No, try to focus. Even if you don't understand, you can go back and read. There are people who can help you, right? So when you are writing the answer, like total focus on the writing answers. Forget about all your weaknesses, try to learn and write. And you can make it enjoyable by just by thinking that, the amount of knowledge you are going to gain right now, none of the examination provides that opportunity, right? And you should love this process, love this acquisition of knowledge. You should be excited about it. So many things you are going to learn. I mentioned, 40,000 new things. It can be 1 lakh new things. Imagine what it will do to you, right? You can become the best politician if you want. I mean it. We lack educated politicians. We lack politicians who can think. We lack politicians, who are responsive, who are responsible, who are clean. And you are going to gain those values, so much of knowledge. You will understand entire polity in and out. All the processes, what happens in constitution, in the parliament, outside parliament, in the courts, outside courts, everything. And you can become the best officer, right? And you can always become the best human being. So UPSC aspirants are some of the, I tweeted about that also. After being in this process rigorously, so other companies should actually give them more opportunities because of the knowledge they have gained, right? It may not apply universally, but there are some serious students who have really invested huge amount of time. I think they should be considered for other opportunities, or leave everything. You will be in a position to take your own decision and do something on your own as well, right? So that is what I did when all my attempts exhausted, right? I am the first Kannadiga to go and open institution in Delhi, next to Wajiram, right? So at the core of old Rajendra Nagar, right? So when I was preparing in a small, not small, in a village. The village was not small. In a village, I could never see a single person who had written mains when I was preparing during that prep. There was absolutely no way. In Bangalore, institutions didn't exist. Even if they existed, they focused mostly on KS, right? You would never see a topper, only topper on the, that there used to be a civil service review, CSR magazine, right? On that magazine cover that used to come 2 months later, we used to see, was the topper. And here at Insights IAS, you will see toppers. Today somebody sent me a screenshot, of one of our students yesterday who got rank in Indian Forest Service. So in an interview given to a Kannada news channel, he has mentioned our institution, that he got trained here. We feel very proud about it, right? And you will come across those students. There are like hundreds of them who are writing mains. They are sitting in these reading rooms, and so you will have a good company. You will have people around you. So just use them. Use them in the sense, learn from them, and keep learning. Right. So later on, when you After like 2 to 3 years, you can think about different options. So right now, learn as if there is no end to it. Enjoy. So learn, like for example, there was a question last year in paper 3, so about James Webb telescope, right? The question was very deep. So they asked about, what is new in this particular telescope compared to the old telescope that was sent to deep space, right? So only if you had curiosity, you would know answer to that question. You would have learnt about it, right? You are reading about James Webb telescope, suddenly you want to learn, okay, so what about, why did they send a new telescope? So there was Hubble telescope. What is the difference between Hubble telescope and James Webb telescope? In terms of technology, in terms of materials they have used, in terms of innovations they have brought in this particular, right? How did telescope evolve? How does telescope function, right? I mean, these are the things you should be curious about. So only when you are curious, when you learn these things, right, so then you will be in a position to answer any question that UPSC is asking, and precisely that kind of candidates are actually required in civil services, not people with rigid mindset, people who expect things to happen in their own way, right? So these are the final words. So wish you all the best, and I hope to see many toppers emerge from this batch, and I have seen many talented students have actually joined this particular batch, right? And Niti Ayog, your name? Rajesh, you are from Chikbalapura, Chikmagaluru, good. Engineer, ಯಾವ ಕಾಲೇಜ್? ಹಾಸನ್ ಮಲ್ನಾಡ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್. ಯಾರು ಇದ್ದಾರಾ ಬೇರೆ ಮಲ್ನಾಡ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಯಾರು? Nobody? No, surprising. You're alone. Good for you. Right. Mata? No doubts? We'll wind up? Okay. All the best. Thank you.